Whereas JaQuincy Kool-Aid McKinstry, a Pinson resident, participated in Pinson Valley High School sports. Kool-Aid was rated a 5-star recruit and committed to play football at Alabama. Roll Tide.
Kool-Aid, 30, 35, 40. Kool-Aid cutting it back midfield.
Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the mayor and the council of the city of Pinson do hereby proclaim March 8, 2024 as Kool-Aid McKinstry Day in the city of Pinson, Alabama.
First, I want to thank you guys for being here, family, friends, and community people. Like these guys said, I put in a lot of work for this community. Very blessed to be a part of this community. Want to continue to see this community and this city grow. Go Indians. I got my name Kool-Aid the day I was born. My grandmother was in the room with my mom, I guess when she was having me. When I came out, I guess I was smiling, and my grandmother said I had a Kool-Aid smile.
Normally, you know, you have to kind of pop them or they be crying, but he was smiling. All you saw was that big smile. And I told his mom, I said, look at this Kool-Aid smile. And that's where he got his name from.
Kool-Aid's always been smart, quick. He started walking at 6 months. He's always been the youngest of the clan. Growing up, you know, like when you go outside and play, you know, he played with the older kids and they played touch football or they played basketball.
Any form of sports, anything with running and jumping and sprinting, I wanted to be involved in it no matter where it was at, no matter was it outside, no matter it was in the middle of the street, no matter where. I always wanted to be involved in it.
He always have been a curious kid, energetic. His mouth is really on overload, but he's an all-around sweet kid. He just all the time bouncing a ball or throwing a ball. That was his day in the life of Kool-Aid.
Most people already know Birmingham is a hard place to grow up. See a lot growing up, things that you maybe shouldn't see as kids. And it's very hard, and it's already against you not to get to where you need to go, and your mindset is already flipped around in a bad way just being a kid from Birmingham. A lot of different drugs, a lot of different people who you can tell was doing things that they ain't have no business doing.
With the upbringing that I had, and even what his dad had, we knew do's, don'ts, can'ts, and ain'ts. So Kool-Aid was raised from the bottom to know what it is, but it wasn't rough and it wasn't easy.
We kept him in church, we kept him grounded in school, we kept him in activities, and just keeping him in the activities, he wanted to be a part of that. He liked football, he liked basketball, he even played baseball, but he liked all three of them. I believe if he could have played soccer, he would have. Mostly anything I do, once I learn how to do it or get a grasp of how to do it, I'm gonna naturally be good at it. That's just how I am, and that's just my mindset with anything. If I'm doing it, I want to be the best at it, or I want to be my best at it, for sure.
And I actually, down in my soul, people like, what you think he liked the best? I think I just would say basketball because I really saw him teach himself how to play basketball. Like, he went from not knowing how to bounce the ball to one day, he was dunking. He always wanted to do his best. If you start something, you gotta finish it. He always wanted to be it. It was just like, I'm finna do this, I'm gonna do this. And it was always sports. So my nephew Jamar is my brother, so the oldest brother. son. Jamari was born, and Kool-Aid was probably even 6 yet, I don't think. But when he was born, it was just like, he was always at the house. Like I said, when I went to work, Kool-Aid was with my mom.
He was like a little brother to me. He was the first cousin that I ever had from like my uncles and aunties.
They was raised like brothers. They got dressed together, they played together, they ate together, tore up stuff together. Went to church, school, whatever. They did it together. Football games. He went to Kool-Aid's game, Little League games. It was just him and Kool-Aid. Jamari passed away when he was 18 months old. He had a stomach disorder. That's all we were told. It was just like one night, my brother's wife called at the time and said he wasn't feeling well. So my mom and I went, checked on him, and he didn't make it. It crushed Kool-Aid a lot. That was kind of like, it took a long time for him to understand what we were telling him.
You know, it affected me a lot. I mean, just knowing how close we was, and like I said, him being the first sibling, I would say, or cousin that I was able to have in my immediate family, and someone I was around every day, to knowing that I got to get ready to go to a funeral at such a young age, and on such of a tragedy of a guy that was 1 year old, it just always stick with me. And I just try to use it now as motivation and just to not be a letdown.
At this point, Kool-Aid was playing for Fultondale. He was 5. And Jamari just put the uniform and stuff on, you know, just whatever. And he was just like, Mama, he didn't make it to my game. And he didn't. He didn't make it. It was finna be basketball time. So after that, because I think he was wearing 5 then, he just started asking for number 1. Everywhere we went, it was number 1. He was turning 1. So in Kool-Aid's mind, he was 1. So I want to wear number 1. I got to wear number 1. He dedicates that to Jamari. If you see him, he'll kiss up to the sky, and he does it faithfully.
So I try to make sure that everything I do and represent him in the right way, and just to see after his death how much it affected my family and my uncle especially. It makes me feel some type of way, and it just, like I said, I use it for motivation to get to where I'm at now, and I want to be the one that take care of my family, because I seen how much it affected our family, and just me being a young person and not really understanding what's going on in the family, but just knowing that, seeing this happen and seeing how much that it caused my family to react and how down it brought my family, just made me want to do whatever I can do to make my family smile.
When I really realized that Kool-Aid was going to the next level, it was actually at Fultondale, like he's in the 7th grade. Same thing, football, basketball, football, basketball. Well, he got bored. And Kool-Aid gets bored because this is even with work. I'm done. I'm finished. What's next? He's always been that child.
Just me being able to start in the 8th grade, that's not usual. My mom didn't want it to be easy for me. She didn't want my career to be easy. She didn't want me to walk through high school. Like, there's no way an 8th grader starting on varsity level of football.
Fultondale, he got his little Tarrant City that was a little rough, but that wasn't enough. We beating everybody. He want to play some defense and some, I got to fall out and catch the ball. You know, he as an actor, like he want to catch the ball in the air. He expecting him where he can throw the ball. You know, he want to be a point guard where he got to really, you know, get and do something. By this time, I had heard about Pinson Valley. Had a friend of mine told me, go on, let him go. I'm gonna help you out. I talked to my mama, I'm gonna help you. Just go and do what you got to. Go see what you got to do. We moved, got him in Pinson. We moved in our apartment just as bare, but we did it. And he took off.
I really didn't know him, didn't know much about him. And then our principal, Mr. Turner, told me, hey, we got this 8th grader down here that just moved in a couple weeks ago. We need to go down there and see him. So literally he and I get in his car and go down to Rudd Middle School. So remember the first time I ever saw him, he passed the look test as far as just look like an athlete, the way he handled himself. It wasn't a typical immature 8th grader, so to speak. And he was very driven. He knew he wanted to be a great player. And as a coach, you love that because you know that you've got one that wants to be coached hard. And now you can go pour into him. He was a special one from the get-go.
Just going around playing spring ball, and Coach Nix just said to AL.com one day, yeah, we got a young guy, he's 8th grade, I think he's a Power 5 kid. So just seeing that Coach didn't really even know me a lot, didn't know me over a month, and just seeing how he can read my game and him being a very trustworthy coach by him being coaches at Miami, being an OC at Miami, and just the different levels that Coach Nix went to, it just made me believe in myself even more and made me realize that I actually can be the person that I want to be.
We were so talented with upperclassmen that he didn't necessarily, he didn't get much playing time at all his 9th grade year. Played a lot of offense, played a lot of receiver, sparingly on defense throughout the whole year, but didn't get a lot of playing time. And then the state championship game rolled around. We're in the first half, one of our corners goes down, our starting corner goes down, and defensive coordinator and I were talking, and we had the backup corner, but Kool-Aid was standing there, and it was like, we need to put him on the field. I know he hasn't been getting the reps. So we, just sort of out as a gut feeling, put him in, and quite honestly, he was not ready. As far as mentally, he was not ready, because we had not played him on defense enough to have him ready. That game that literally his recruiting took off, from the Alabamas, the Auburns, everybody, when they saw him that game and how many plays he was making, and he was a 9th grader, you could just tell this guy can play. He just has something different about him, and he is really, really good. He was very driven. He knew what he wanted. He wanted to be the best player in the state. He wanted to be the best player in the country. He wanted to win state championships. So he was very driven. It was almost one of those things to where, quite honestly, if you can't make me better, then get out of the way. But he and Bo, they had a unique relationship because both of them are very similar. They're both extremely driven. Both of them had dreams of being the best. They wanted to, at their position, they wanted to be the best in the country. And I think guys like that, they gravitate to each other. They find each other, so to speak. And I think that's one thing Kool-Aid loved about Bo, is that Bo was an extremely hard worker, paid attention to the details, didn't think of himself as being the best, but wanted to work himself to be the best. And I think Kool-Aid saw that and really respected that and wanted to be that.
Bo was a good teammate, also a good leader. He never did wrong in my eyes. I never seen him do anything wrong. It can be the smallest thing. I can't remember nothing that he did that was wrong at all. He was very competitive, a very good leader, worked out very hard, did everything the right way, and you can tell by the way it's paying off for him.
He had interest from everybody. I mean, it was very quickly that 9th and 10th grade year, and his 10th grade year was off the chart with how good he was and the things that he did. But there's no doubt the recruiting for him from that 9th grade on, everybody wanted him. It was crazy.
I'll tell you a guy that I feel like did an excellent job with him his senior year, and that was Chris Davis. Chris Davis that played at Auburn, kick six, Chris Davis.
45. There goes Davis. Oh my God! Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game.
I thought Chris did a really good job with Kool-Aid, and there were a couple times I was getting ready to go over to Kool-Aid, And before I could even take a step, Chris Davis is right there, and he's in his ear. And the thing I liked about that relationship was it wasn't like a lovey-dovey, like we're friends type. No, it was, hey man, I'm the coach. I've played this position. I've been where you're trying to go, college, NFL. This is what I need to give you. Because he had been on the radar for so long, obviously since his freshman year. So by the time I got there wasn't a lot, there wasn't really anything I needed to do. He was being recruited by pretty much everybody in the country.
We had this big old case, like the storage cases. We just was putting the letters in there. And I didn't realize how deep this had got till it was time to move. I couldn't move the tote.
He really liked Auburn, really liked the fact that he'd go down there and be around Bo. So I think emotionally some of those type of things, were very, very heavy leaning towards Auburn. But at the end of the day, like I said, I think that for him, he knew for my career, it's best that I go write my own book.
I actually had told Auburn I was gonna commit to them publicly, but then I had woke up probably 3 days later and was like, hell nah, I'm going to Bama. I called my mama I'm going to Alabama, Mom. I ain't going to Auburn. She was like, I knew that shit was coming. So shit.
I want to thank the 3 top schools who have been recruiting me for this learning journey since I was a freshman. But lastly, most importantly, I want to thank my little brother, Jamari Allen, that died. At the age of 7, I lost my little brother. He was 1 year old. Ever since I lost him, that what motivated me. It motivated me to get to where I wanted to go. So all I want to say to him is keep on watching over me and the fam. I love you, bro. But for the next 3 to 4 years, I'll be taking my talents to the University of Alabama.
And he was fighting back the tears. He was fighting. And I just thought, this is such a historical moment. This young man is going to Alabama. He's going to play ball for Nick Saban. Isn't that something?
Who am I? I'm the greatest.